You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Of course, Araucana Chiambori Quayle served as ambassador to the African Union for 3 years here to the United States before she was let go. The African Diaspora Congress has an online petition demanding her reinstatement. They say she was fired because of influence and pressure exerted on African leaders and people by the former colonial powers of Europe. And now, of course, we had the ambassador on a couple of weeks ago after she, of course, was terminated, and she says that the pressure continues on her, and now folks are trying to tarnish her name and reputation. She joins us right now. Glad to have you back. So, since we last talked, what has happened?
Well, out of the blues, 5 weeks after my termination letter, there is now another communique that came out a few days ago where basically I am being accused of a slew of things. Projects that I initiated in order to deliver on my mandate, they are now claiming they were not AU supported, which is quite ridiculous. Because those projects were based on what I used to request my budget. There was no budget when I first came in, the first year, so I had to present a budget specifically stating what activities I wanted to engage in order to deliver on my mandate, which are the two mandates, promoting Africa in the Americas, as well as galvanizing the African diaspora to participate in the development of Africa. That I did. The budget was given. I proceeded with creating the programs. These programs, quarterly, I would report back to the headquarters every program that I would have implemented. The main three ones were, for example, I organized the women into an association that they called the Pan-African Diaspora Women. This was not a registered entity. It was only a social organization for the purposes of diaspora women coming to the mission and discussing issues pertaining to the women. I also created the Pan-African Diaspora Youth. This was for young people. Also, they would come and would discuss their issues. And then, of course, we did the same thing with men. I took this opportunity to educate and inform the diaspora women and the diaspora youth and the men about the activities of the African Union, updates on decisions from the African heads of states. So it was really a very dynamic group of people, but it was difficult to all of us meet at the same time. On their own, as women, as youth, as men, they would then have their own sessions and discuss their issues separately. So it worked very well in terms of promoting and galvanizing the African diaspora and making everybody feel that they were part of the process. So those were three. Trying to claim that I registered them illegally. They're not registered. I simply brought the diaspora together, which was part of my mandate. The other thing they're accusing me of having done, I had a program which was a joint activity between the State Department and the African Union Mission. The young African leaders from the continent came together and spent a day with young African leaders in the diaspora. It was a beautiful event. The youth engaged with each other. It is those kind of relationships that are going to give us the results that we need. Some of them have engaged in relationships that have lasted even to this day. That is what we need. We need to engage our young people. Again, even though this was with the State Department, they say it's not part of the AU program. The other program that I implemented was Miss African Union. It was an amazing event. We brought in African tradition, African wear. It was a 5-hour event. The dancers were the ghetto kids from Rwanda. We had the Rwandese traditional dancers, the ghetto kids from Uganda, and the Ndebele dancers. Amazing, amazing evening. All the contestants wore African clothes. The judges and the contestants had to learn about Berlin Conference, the Pact for the Continuation of Colonization, OAU, AU, all the way to the African Continental Free Trade Area. It was educational. And it's all part of promoting Africa in the United States, but at the same time, also promoting African textile trade and industry. All those projects, they were part of implementation of my mandate. So to then turn around and say they were not part of the African Union, that is ludicrous. Every quarter, I would report every activity. It is a requirement that I have the quarterly activity report. All those activities were reported. There was never a question of whether or not these were African Union projects.
There are 95,000, here we go to my iPad, please. There are 95,737 people who have signed this petition asking you to be reinstated. It was, the end of your term was November 1st. So if they decide to let you go, and you say you continue to, they now trying to now make these allegations, why are they afraid of you, in your estimation?
I think what it is, it goes back to the 95,000 people who signed. They never expected that the diaspora would come up with such numbers. They feel threatened. And then secondly, lately, the diaspora, a few days ago, they also started another petition, which they are calling "Fuck You Must Go." I think that's really what led them into coming up with this venom. But they need to realize that the diaspora are simply expressing their anger and disappointment. For the first time, the diaspora are saying, we felt we are represented. We felt connected to the African Union. They were updated, and they really felt they were ready to move into Africa and begin to participate in building the Africa that they want. So my dismissal was sudden, and to them, they felt that the chairman simply did not care about the diaspora. So what you're seeing is the outrage from the diaspora, who really felt for the first time they had a representative who understood them, a representative who listened to them, and to have that representative suddenly taken away from them was a very painful thing. I have to tell you, some diaspora, they called me in tears. Even me, I'm surprised that I had such an impact to so many people, in so many lives, and around the globe. Honestly, if the truth be told, it's quite humbling when you see the response that's coming from the diaspora. So Chairman Faki needs to listen to the diaspora. They're trying to communicate with him, and it behooves him to pay attention to their voices.
When you call, you wanted to have a couple of folks who have known you to also speak for you. Introduce yourselves.
My name is Sylvia Litana Robertson, and I was the Deputy Director for the Miss African Union pageant.
I'm Dr. Gloria Bozeman Herndon. I'm an entrepreneur, former diplomat, and I've worked very closely with Ambassador Qual.
What do you think is going on here? Why are we at this point?
It has to do with more than just this African Union situation. It's our situation in the world. Africa and the diaspora is strong and going. So you're going to have a lot of attacks. And the attack is coming from the inside. They're attacking us because they know we're powerful. Together we're powerful. Just think about the African diaspora and how much it contributes to Africa. If you talk to the man on the street, they say, look, my brother over in Washington, D.C. is going to send our family $1,000 a month. Without that $1,000, where would we be? There is a link between the Africa diaspora and Africa. And if we do not use that to the benefit of both of us, then we're going to have some issues. Somebody else is going to come in and take over that situation. So let's not be deceived. What Dr. Akwa has done has been incredible, because I know this lady for what she is. In 2012, we had a leadership conference in Equatorial Guinea, and we had the best and the finest. And Dr. Kwa, husband and wife, came, and they represented our health care. Now, I don't know how much you know about her, but she and her husband had 3 of the largest medical facilities in Nashville, Tennessee. This lady did not come to the African Union begging for money. She came with a whole lot of money and gave it up, sold 3, I don't know if I could have been so generous, sold 3 of her practices, sold homes, and she has one of the largest hotels in South Africa, an African-American woman ambassador who has that. She's an entrepreneur, she's a medical doctor, and I was in Malawi with her when Melinda Gates was there, and with President Joyce Banda. She brought over a whole African mission, as well as containers of medical supplies to provide for the community. Now I'm going to tell you what kind of person would do that other than one who's truly dedicated, truly committed, and truly understanding the mission. I mean, we're not here for a long time to do nothing. I've been going to Africa for 50 years. You're supposed to tell me I don't look old, but
you told yourself.
Hallelujah. Okay. But she's given up a lot. She's sacrificed a lot, and I'm gonna tell you, kudos to you, because this is only a short thing right now, and it's almost over, and it's not over until it's completely over. But what you're doing is you're moving to another level of sanctity and another level of positivism. So you've done a whole lot. I appreciate what you've done. And continue the work.
Dr. Kwa, what can I say about her? If somebody doesn't have a mother, this is a lady that I would want to have as a mom, because she loves you all the same. She gives you all the exact same attention, no matter how tired she is. And for the AU to come out the way they have come out is really not fair. All the programs that Dr. Kwa had put together were all towards Agenda 2063, which is an AU baby. So I'm not sure where they're coming up with this, because the Padua and Padia, all of us volunteer freely. She never pressured anybody to come out there and do this and that. All she would say is, I'm talking about this, and we listen. Those of us who want to be part of it, we ran. I did. Chairman Faki, you don't know the mistake you've made right now. This lady has galvanized the diaspora like nobody has done before. You have just started a moving train, which is not stopping. We are going forward with our ambassador, which is Dr. Arikana Chihombori Kwao. You accuse her of stealing money from the pageant. No, she didn't. I, Sylvia Robertson, was the deputy director for that Miss African Union pageant. And might I say, I'm sure you saw the videos and you're probably just kicking yourself somewhere out there. But let me tell you something. From the get-go, when she told us about this pageant, she made it very clear, exclusively clear, that the AU does not have any money, the AU does not have any budget to pay anybody. However, there's a program that I have put before you. If you'd like to go ahead with it, please volunteer your time. And we ran. She asked us to come to her home, her house, not even the AU house. Doctor and Doctor's house. That's where we went in Virginia. She served us dinner with her money, not the AU money, her money from her house. And we all agreed to say we would do the pageant, because it's a passion for all of us. We are Africans, and very proud African queens and kings.
They put out a statement, the spokesperson did, on November 15th, listing all of these different things. They said that they had an audit. Their team found evidence regarding. First of all, they're saying that you're putting out lots of disinformation. So this is a misleading campaign, and say that there were different things that were conducted, the following without prior knowledge or consent and against the rules of the African Union, utilizing the African Union logo, presenting themselves as official AU programs and organs, using the name of the AU, and then going on and on and on. And said, in this regard, they have written confirmation from you that the aforementioned initiatives activities were her private engagements initiated by herself with no relationship to the African Union nor any of its organs. And so this was put out by, is it Eba Kalando, spokesperson
Yes.
to the chairperson for the African Union Commission.
Obviously, Eba is getting confused. How do you justify a grouping, a meeting, a social gathering of Pan-African diaspora women as an organ of the African Union? How can you classify a gathering, social gathering of Pan-African youth at the African Union Mission as an organ of the AU? The same thing with Pan-African diaspora men. It's ridiculous. The other two items they have there is some electoral commission entity. I have no idea what that entity is, and they know it. There is another one called AU Trading LLC. Again, I have no idea what those two entities were, and they know it. But I told her that. I told her, I don't know where those entities came from. You're welcome to look them up. They were the names, and they happen to have an address for the AU. No idea where they came from. To suggest that I collected money from donors, which donors? You can't just make such a blanket statement. The Chevron issue, Melfoot of Constituency for Africa, told you that the money never came to me. He received the funds a month after our event. He was supposed to pay Intercontinental, but the funds had not been paid by Chevron. When the funds finally came, they came with also his own donation for his program, the Ron Brown series. So he asked Chevron if he could just apply all the funds to his program, and he was given permission to do so. The funds never came to the AU. The funds were never meant to come to the AU. And there is written confirmation, email communication to that effect, and Eba Kalando has a copy of that communication. So all these made-up lies, frivolous accusations without any basis is trying to hide the fact that I came to an office that was basically a protocol office, an office that was basically dead. Even the State Department, some of the staff members told me they thought the mission had closed. Many of the Congress people that I met never even knew there was an African Union mission. This is a very important office in the Americas. This is an office that can go a long way. I came in less than 3 years. I completely turned this mission around. African Union is now respected in the US government. African Union is now known and respected not only in the United States, but in the Americas and the world. Single-handedly, I'm the one of the employees at the AU was telling me that if you search in social media, the one person who is consistently promoting African Union is the African Union mission through me. So rather than, instead of appreciating the work that I've done, which is what was indicated in the termination letter, that thank you for the wonderful work you have done, continue to do the good work. The question is, if October 7th, Musa Faki felt that I'd done a good job and that I should continue to do what I was doing, what has happened 5 weeks later? Why suddenly all these accusations? Eba Kalando was interviewed on several platforms, and she denied any other reason besides the fact that my term had come to an end. And suddenly 5 weeks later, she decides, oh, there was a problem. All of it totally frivolous. Everything I did was in line with delivering my mandate. How else could I deliver my mandate if I did not create this program?
I do want to ask you this question here, and that is, I saw one of the stories. So you, obviously, your criticism in terms of France's role, and there have been a couple of countries that made some announcements on that.
Benin.
Yes, yes. Benin president is now also is talking about requesting repatriation of the country's deposits to France.
Well, that's certainly a positive advancement.
That is a huge, huge announcement, and we hope that France is not going to give Benin a difficult time in receiving and repatriating those funds. We also hope...
And how much are we talking?
Oh, my God, trillions. Trillions. It is not pocket change. That's just Benin. And remember, there are 14 countries. So we hope that all of them, Central and West African countries, can do the same. But they have to come together and do it at the same time.
All right, then. Well, look, we certainly appreciate it. Thank you for all of you for being here. And we'll see what's next. And I've reached out to them to see if they will come on this show to share their thoughts, and hopefully they'll do so.
I also wanted to just say one thing. I think as an African, I'm quite disappointed at the behavior coming out of the chairman's office. His behavior is unbecoming of such a high office. As Africans, we deserve better. And especially when it comes to the African Union. And today, in view of the African Continental Free Trade Area, trying to alienate the African diaspora is a big mistake. The African diaspora are not going anywhere. The African diaspora are the African Union. They are committed to playing their part in building the Africa that we want. So, Chairman Faki, we are asking you to please respect the office, and the diaspora are here to stay. Listen to them. They're trying to speak to you.
All right. We appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, folks, let's talk marijuana. The folks at marijuanastock.org have already reached more than half of their funding goal for this hemp CBD investment. That's right. If you want to take advantage of this opportunity, you need to do it now because it won't last much longer. Now, if you don't know, I'm talking about the hemp plant, the good cousin to marijuana, with a much higher concentration of CBD. That means hemp gives you all the medical benefits of marijuana without getting you high. Also, if you don't know, hemp farming is now legal in the United States, creating one of the largest commodities worldwide. Now, it's an investment opportunity for all of you, and that's where the folks at 420 Real Estate come in. Their business model is simple. They buy land that supports hemp CBD grow operations and lease it to licensed, high-paying tenants. That's right, they are hemp CBD landlords, and you can get in on the action. As hemp continues to change the economic landscape, 420 Real Estate is allowing you to chase the American dream. The best part, you can invest in this crowdfunding campaign for as little as $200. That's right, anywhere from $200 up to $10,000. To invest, go to marijuanastock.org. That's marijuanastock.org. Get in the game and get in the game now. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video. You want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. See that name right there? Roland Martin Unfiltered. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so when we go live, you'll know it. You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.
Hey everybody, this is Sherry Shepherd. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered, and while he's doing Unfiltered, I'm practicing the wobble. Yes, I am. Because Roland Martin's the one, he will do it backwards, he will do it on the side. He messes everybody up when he gets into the wobble, because he doesn't know how to do it, so he does it backwards. And it messes me up every single time. So, I'm working on it. I got it. You got Roland Martin.
Hi, my name is Latoya Luckett, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Mac Wiles, and you are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
What's up, y'all? It's Ryan Destiny, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
What up, Lana Well, and you are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Hey fam, want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered, the blackest show on all of digital, cable, and broadcast. Check out our audio podcast. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. Press play.